and welcome to our podcast. I'm Emma.
And I'm Max. Today, we're going to talk about something very important: how to feel confident in English interviews. Interviews can be scary, but don't worry, we're here to help.
That's right. Many people feel nervous about speaking English in an interview. They worrying about making mistakes or forgetting words. But confidence is the key. If you feel confident, you'll do much better.
Yes, and confidence doesn't mean being perfect. It means feeling ready to try. So, let's start with some tips to help you prepare for an English interview.
Okay, first, practice introducing yourself. This is the first thing you'll do in almost any interview. You need to tell the interviewer your name, a little about your background, and maybe something about your skills.
For example, you could say, "Hello, my name is Maria. I have 5 years of experience as a teacher. I enjoy helping people learn and grow." See, simple and clear.
Yes, and practicing this at home will help you feel more comfortable. Say it in front of a mirror or record yourself. Then listen to your voice. Are you speaking slowly and clearly?
That's a great idea. Another tip is to learn some common interview questions. For example, why do you want this job? Or what are your strengths and weaknesses?
And remember, it's okay to take a moment to think before answering. You can say, "That's a good question. Let me think for a moment." This gives you time to organize your thoughts.
That's so true. Also, try to use simple sentences. You don't need big or fancy words to sound smart. For example, instead of saying, "I have excellent communication skills," you could say, "I'm good at talking to people and explaining things."
Right, and don't forget to prepare a few examples of your work or experience. Interviewers often ask, "Can you give an example of a problem you solved at work?"
You could answer, "At my last job, we had a big project with a short deadline. I worked with my team to create a plan. We finished on time, and the client was very happy." See how it's simple and to the point.
Exactly. And Max, what about body language?
Oh, that's very important. Even if you're speaking English, your body language shows confidence. Sit up straight, look the interviewer in the eye, and smile.
Yes, and if you feel nervous, take a deep breath. Slow, deep breathing can help calm your mind and your body.
Another tip is to bring notes if the interview is online. You can write down key points you want to say, just make sure not to read everything.
That's a great idea. And speaking of online interviews, make sure your background is clean and quiet. Check your internet and microphone before the interview.
Yes, preparation makes a big difference. The more prepared you are, the less nervous you'll feel.
And don't forget, interviews are a two-way conversation. It's okay to ask questions too. For example, you could ask, "Can you tell me more about the team I'll be working with?"
That's a great question. It shows that you're interested in the job and the company.
And finally, remember to smile and be polite. Say thank you at the end of the interview. A good attitude leaves a positive impression.
Absolutely. And don't worry about small mistakes. Everyone makes them. What's important is showing that you're trying and that you're interested in the job.
Yes, and we're here to help you feel more confident. With practice and preparation, you can do it.
That's right. So let's keep talking about more ways to build confidence and do well in interviews.
So let's dive deeper into building confidence for English interviews. One of the most important things is to understand that mistakes are okay. Max, have you ever made a mistake in an interview?
Oh, definitely. I remember once I forgot the word for experience in an interview. I just paused and said, "I have a lot of, working years." The interviewer still understood me and I got the job.
That's a great example. Mistakes happen to everyone, even native speakers. What matters is staying calm and continuing to communicate.
Exactly, and if you don't understand a question, it's okay to ask the interviewer to repeat it. You can say, "I'm sorry, could you say that again?" or "Could you explain what you mean?"
That's a great tip. It shows that you're listening carefully and want to give a good answer. Another idea is to practice listening to English before the interview.
Yes, listen to podcasts, watch interviews online, or even practice with a friend. The more you hear English, the more familiar it will feel during the interview.
Right. And Max, let's talk about vocabulary. It's good to prepare some key words that you might need in the interview. For example, if you're applying for a customer service job, words like customers, help, and solve are useful.
Absolutely. Write down a list of these words and practice using them in sentences. For example, I helped customers solve problems with their accounts. This way, you'll feel ready to use them in the interview.
And if you forget a word during the interview, don't panic. You can explain what you mean in a different way. For example, if you forget the word organize, you can say, I like to make things neat and clear.
That's a great strategy. It's like finding a different path to explain your idea. Interviewers appreciate that you're trying.
Yes, now let's talk about questions interviewers might ask. One common question is, can you tell me about yourself?
Oh, that's a big one. Many people feel nervous because they don't know where to start. A simple way to answer is to divide your response into 3 parts: who you are, what you've done, and what you want.
That's a great structure. For example, you could say, I'm Maria, and I have 5 years of experience as a teacher. I've worked in different schools and helped students improve their grades. I'm excited to bring my skills to this new role.
Perfect, it's clear, simple, and shows your experience and enthusiasm. Another question they might ask is, why do you want this job?
Yes, and to answer this, you can talk about your goals and how they match the job. For example, I enjoy working with people, and this job lets me use my skills to help customers.
That's a good way to show that you've thought about the job and why it's right for you. And what about weaknesses, Emma? Many people don't know how to answer the question, what are your weaknesses?
That's a tricky one, but it's important to be honest. Choose a weakness that isn't too serious and explain how you're improving. For example, sometimes I get nervous speaking in public, but I've been practicing by joining a local speaking group.
That's great advice. It shows that you're aware of your weakness and working on it. Another thing to remember is to ask questions at the end of the interview.
Yes, asking questions shows that you're interested in the job and the company. You could ask, what does a typical day look like in this role? Or what are the most important skills for this job?
Those are excellent questions, and let's not forget about preparing mentally. Interviews can feel stressful, but positive thinking can make a big difference.
Absolutely. Before the interview, take a moment to remind yourself of your strengths. Say to yourself, I've prepared for this. I'm ready. I can do this.
That's so powerful, and remember, interviewers aren't there to judge you harshly. They want to get to know you and see if you're a good fit for the job.
Yes, they're not looking for someone perfect. They're looking for someone who's confident, polite, and willing to learn.
That's right, and practicing before the interview will help you feel ready. You can even practice with a friend or family member.
Or record yourself answering questions. Listen to how you sound. Are you speaking clearly? Are your answers easy to understand?
Those are excellent ways to prepare, and don't forget to plan what you'll wear. Dressing professionally shows that you take the interview seriously.
Yes, and it helps you feel confident too. When you look good, you feel good.
Definitely, and one last thing for now, remember to stay positive, even if the interview feels difficult. Sometimes things don't go as planned, but every interview is a chance to learn and improve.
That's so true. With practice and preparation, each interview will feel easier and better.
Absolutely. Let's keep exploring more ways to help you succeed in interviews.
Now, let's talk about what to do during the interview itself and how to leave a strong impression. First, remember that the way you start an interview sets the tone. When the interviewer greets you, smile and say, "It's nice to meet you," or "Thank you for having me here today."
That's a great way to begin. A polite and friendly start shows confidence and makes the interviewer feel positive about you. And remember, making small talk can also help you relax.
Yes, for example, if the interviewer says, "How are you today?" you can reply, "I'm doing well, thank you. How about you?" These little moments make the interview feel more like a conversation.
Exactly, and don't forget to listen carefully to the questions. Sometimes people get so nervous that they start answering before they fully understand the question.
That's so true. If you're not sure about a question, it's okay to ask. You can say, "Could you explain that a bit more?" Or "Do you mean in my last job or in general?" This shows that you're paying attention and want to give the best answer.
And when you answer, try to stay focused, keep your answers clear and not too long. For example, if they ask, "Why do you want this job?" you don't need to talk for 5 minutes. A short, clear answer like, "I enjoy working with people and helping them solve problems. This job is a great match for M."
Yes, and if they ask about your experience, use the STAR method. It stands for situation, task, action, result. For example, if they ask, "Can you give an example of teamwork?" you could say, "Situation, at my last job, we had to finish a project quickly. Task, my team needed to plan how to comp."
That's an excellent example. It's clear and shows what you did and what happened because of your actions.
Exactly. And Max, let's talk about nonverbal communication again. Things like your tone of voice, facial expressions, and gestures also matter in an interview.
Absolutely. Speak with energy and confidence, even if you're nervous. Smile when appropriate and try to keep your voice steady. If you sound excited about the job, the interviewer will notice.
And nodding while listening shows that you're paying attention. It's a small thing, but it makes a big difference.
Definitely. Now, let's talk about what to do at the end of the interview. Many people forget this part, but it's just as important as the beginning.
Yes, when the interviewer says, "Do you have any questions for me?" always ask something. This shows that you're interested in the job. For example, you could ask, "What do you enjoy most about working here?" Or "What are the next steps in the hiring process?"
Those are great questions, and don't forget to thank the interviewer. You can say, "Thank you for taking the time to meet with me. I really appreciate it."
Yes, a polite thank you leaves a lasting impression. If the interview is online, make sure to end with a smile and say goodbye clearly.
And after the interview, it's a good idea to send a short thank you email. You can write something like, "Thank you for the opportunity to interview for the job title position. I enjoyed learning more about the role and your company."
That's a great way to show professionalism. And Max, let's remind everyone that practice doesn't stop after the interview. If you don't get the job, think about what you learned from the experience.
Exactly, each interview helps you get better. You can ask yourself questions like, "What went well?" and "What can I improve next time?" This way, you're always growing.
And remember, confidence is built over time. The more you prepare and practice, the more comfortable you'll feel. Even if one interview doesn't go perfectly, you're one step closer to success.
That's so true, and don't compare yourself to others. Your journey is your own, focus on your progress and keep going.
Yes, and always celebrate your efforts. Preparing for an interview in English is a big achievement. You're already improving your skills and taking a step toward your goals.
That's right, be proud of yourself for trying. Confidence doesn't mean being perfect, it means believing in yourself and your ability to learn and grow.
Exactly. So, to everyone listening, we hope this podcast helps you feel more confident and ready for your English interviews.
And don't forget, practice makes progress. Keep practicing, stay positive, and remember that every step forward counts.
Thank you so much for listening. If you found this helpful, please subscribe to our channel and share this podcast with your family and friends.
Yes, sharing helps others too, and we'd love to hear about your experiences in interviews. Leave a comment and let us know what worked for you.
Thanks again for joining us, and good luck with your interviews. You've got this.
Take care and see you next time.
Emma and Max together. Goodbye.